All right, so ready to dive into something I think we've all probably experienced?
Absolutely.
The totally messy, complicated world of breakups.
Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive into this YouTube video. It's called, the title's in Spanish, it's called Superando,
Okay.
which means overcoming.
I see.
And that's what we're hoping, to help you do.
Yeah, heartbreak, it's like this universal experience, right?
Totally.
And, the thing everyone wants to know is, like,
Right.
how do you bounce back? How do you do it quickly?
Exactly. And this video, it jumps right in with this motivational tactic. And honestly, when I first saw it, it kind of surprised me.
Okay.
It's basically using the desire to get your ex back as fuel.
It's interesting, right? Because, like, on the surface, it doesn't feel like the healthiest way to think about it.
Sure.
But there's this thing, it's called, psychologically, loss aversion.
Yeah.
And it basically means that we feel the pain of losing something way more intensely than we feel the joy of gaining something of equal value.
That makes sense.
So you apply that to a breakup.
It's like suddenly that relationship seems way more appealing than it did when you were in it, even if you're the one who ended things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And then you have that feeling of, I want what I can't have,
Yeah.
which plays right into the scarcity principle.
Right.
So I think, this video is clever in
Yeah.
a way because it's using these very natural human tendencies
Totally.
as a starting point to kind of like motivate you.
To motivate you to move on.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're channeling that initial I'll show them
Yeah,
energy into something positive for yourself.
exactly. Use it as a springboard
Okay.
to kind of like get you moving.
Yeah.
The key is to not get stuck there,
Right.
but to use it to propel you towards like genuine healing,
Like that.
self-discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
But this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Another big piece of advice is going completely no contact.
Ooh, no contact.
Like resisting that urge to check up on your ex, which, let's be honest,
Oh, so hard.
can be really hard.
It's like social media is engineered to make us do the exact opposite
It really is, yeah.
of what's good for us
It really is.
in these situations.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting here?
What's that?
It's that the video connects no contact directly to regaining your sense of control.
Oh.
So think about it. After a breakup, there's this almost like an automatic power imbalance
Right.
that happens. And going cold turkey can actually help to shift that balance.
So it's less about like trying to make your ex jealous
Right.
and more about reclaiming your own power.
Exactly. And now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, a little ego boost from knowing that your ex misses you
Sure.
isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the real benefit here is that you're prioritizing your own well-being.
Okay.
You're taking charge of your own healing.
Right.
Instead of letting your ex's actions or online presence
Yeah.
dictate how you feel.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's almost like taking back your narrative in a way.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of letting it be written by,
by someone.
by someone else and their actions and all of that.
Yes, it's about focusing on what you can control,
Okay.
which is yourself, your actions, and how you choose to move forward. And you know what goes hand in hand with that.
What's that?
Reclaiming that control, this idea of, being proactive
Yeah.
and like filling your life up with things that bring you joy.
Right. The whole distraction is your new best friend approach.
Yeah,
Although, to be honest, that's always felt a little surface level to me.
I get that.
Like you're just slapping a Band-Aid on a deeper wound.
Yeah, but what's fascinating is that there's actually science behind this.
Really?
And it's not about numbing out at all.
Okay.
When it's done right, distraction is really about consciously interrupting
Okay.
those negative thought patterns
Yeah.
that just keep swirling around after breakup.
So instead of just endlessly replaying the same old memories,
Yes.
you're actively creating new pathways, new associations in your brain.
Exactly. Think of it like building a new trail
Okay.
through a forest.
Okay.
The more you walk that trail,
Yeah.
the clearer and more defined that path becomes.
Interesting.
So you're literally rewiring your brain
Wow.
to focus on something else.
And those something else's being, whatever,
Yeah.
brings you genuine happiness
Yeah.
and connection.
Exactly.
It's funny, the video actually shares this anecdote, this example,
Oh, I love a good anecdote.
from the creator's own life.
Okay.
And it kind of surprised me.
What happened?
So she's going through this breakup, obviously heartbroken.
Yeah.
And instead of wallowing,
Yeah.
she decides to double down on, her own advice,
Yeah.
no contact, focusing on herself, all that.
Okay, she walks the walk.
Exactly.
That's the result.
So, according to her, the ex came back, wanting to get back together.
Oh, wow.
Like within days.
Wow, that's pretty dramatic.
I know, right?
I mean, that's the thing about anecdotes, though, right?
What's
You can't really draw universal conclusions from them
That's true, yeah.
because there are so many other variables at play.
Like, was it really her actions that made him come back?
Right.
Or was it, was he already having second thoughts anyway?
Exactly. Exactly.
Who knows?
We're just seeing a tiny snapshot
Oh,
of
yeah.
a much larger story.
And it makes me wonder, like, what if getting back together isn't the goal at all?
That's such a good point.
Like, what if you genuinely want to move on?
Right.
Is all this advice still relevant?
Yeah. And that brings up a really important nuance, I think.
What's that?
Yes, the video frames everything around, like, this idea of attracting your ex back.
Okay.
But here's the thing. These tactics can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Even if your goal is to move forward, not backward.
Really?
Yeah.
So even if I'm not trying to, like, win anyone back,
Right.
this whole no contact, self-care, finding my joy approach,
Yes.
it's still beneficial.
Absolutely. Think of it less about getting your ex back
Okay.
and more about building your own resilience.
Okay.
Whether or not your ex comes crawling back
Yeah.
is almost beside the point.
Interesting.
The real victory is
Yeah.
you reclaiming your happiness, your power,
That's a much more empowering way to look at it, actually.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your own worth
Okay.
and realizing that your happiness doesn't hinge
Yeah.
on someone else's actions.
Right.
It comes from within.
I like that. It's funny, how this whole conversation, it's kind of shifted.
Yeah.
We started out talking about a video. The goal was, how do you get your ex back?
Right.
And now we're talking about, like, inner strength
Right.
and resilience.
It is funny how that happens.
It is.
But that's the thing about these deep dives, right?
Yeah.
It's about going beyond that surface level.
Totally.
And it really highlights something so crucial about this whole healing process.
What's that?
It's an inside job,
It really is. Yeah. And it makes me think about that whole, like, time heals all wounds thing.
Right.
But it's not really about the time, is it?
It's not about the time.
It's what you do with it.
It's about what you do with that time. Exactly.
And a big part of that, and I think the video touched on this kind of subtly,
Okay.
is self-compassion.
Yes. Oh, so important.
So instead of, like, beating ourselves up
Yes.
for, I don't know, feeling sad, missing our ex,
Of course.
we need to be kind to ourselves
Yes, 100%.
in those moments.
Give yourself permission
Okay.
to feel those feelings,
Yeah.
Breakups hurt.
They do.
And it's okay to acknowledge the pain
Yeah.
without judgment. In fact, that is essential
Okay.
because when you're constantly criticizing yourself, it makes it that much harder to move forward.
It's like we're adding insult to injury or something.
Totally. Why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah, exactly. We're already hurting.
You already heard it.
And then we just pile on even more negativity
Yeah, exactly.
on ourselves.
Yeah, instead try treating yourself
Yeah.
with the same compassion that you would offer a friend.
That's a good way to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's going through the same thing.
And it makes me think about forgiveness, too.
Forgiveness.
Mhm.
Now we're getting to the heart of it.
Yeah.
This is where the really transformative stuff happens.
It's interesting because the video doesn't explicitly come out and say, like, you need to forgive your ex.
Right.
But it feels like a natural extension.
It does.
Oof. Kind of. Everything that we've been talking about.
100%, because ultimately,
Yeah.
whether or not you want to get back together,
Right.
holding on to that anger
Sure.
and resentment, it only hurts you
It really does. It's so true.
in the long run.
Yeah. So forgiving your ex, it's not about them.
Exactly.
It's not about, like, letting them off the hook.
It's about freeing yourself
Exactly.
from carrying all that negativity.
100%. Yeah.
Where I'm with you.
And that includes forgiving yourself, too, by the way.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Right. It's so easy to get in those thought loops.
Yes.
Like shoulda, woulda, couldas,
It's so shitty.
after a breakup.
Yeah.
But learning to forgive yourself
Yeah.
for whatever mistakes, real or perceived,
Real or perceived, it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
I just forgive.
That's so crucial for
Yeah.
moving on.
It's crucial for moving on.
Wow, this whole conversation has been
Yeah.
a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
We start with what I thought was a simple video, how do I get over my ex? And it's turned into something so much, like, bigger.
That's the beauty of it.
It is.
That's what true healing is about.
Okay.
It's about self-discovery. It's
Yeah.
about growth.
Yeah.
And it's about, emerging from this experience stronger, more resilient than before.
I love that.
And who knows, right?
Yeah.
You might even surprise yourself with
for sure.
what or who
Uh-huh.
you're drawn to next.
Maybe the real getting back together
Okay.
was the self-love that we found along the way.
I see what you did there.
I had to get one more cheesy line in there.
You gotta.
But on a serious note, this has been such a powerful deep dive.
It has.
So thanks to all of you for joining us.
And remember, whether you're, going through a breakup, a
Yeah.
career change, any kind of life transition, really,
Mhm.
these principles, self-compassion, forgiveness, inner strength,
Yeah.
they're always applicable.
They are. They were the keys
Yeah.
to unlocking your most resilient self.
There you go.
Until next time, keep diving deep.